Hello my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be doing some coffee dyeing of paper and envelopes. We are going to be doing some tea dyeing of coffee. We're going to be doing some tea dyeing of paper and envelopes, and there's a bit of a plot twist to the whole thing, and we're going to be adding in some of this printer ink. Now, I have a ton of this printer ink because my printer doesn't seem to go through the small black cartridges hardly at all, and I don't know why. I'm constantly having to change all the colors in the big fat extra large black one, but not these. So I've been sort of rattling around some ideas in my brain for a while about what I could do with this that might be kind of fun. So I decided the other day, let's add it when we're doing coffee dyeing and tea dyeing and see what happens. And I have to say the results, especially with the small batch with the coffee, the results were fantastic. So the video starts off with me trying to figure out how to get the ink out. That was a little bit of a struggle, but with, there's always a learning curve for me. So we get the ink out and we add it, and I can't say enough about the results. It really gave the paper and the envelopes this fun dark gray charcoal color hue with the coffee. I'm hooked. I love it. And I'm going to be using these envelopes and things primarily in my Halloween junk journals that I'm going to be making. That will be on my website, www.islandalice.com. I am so bad at the marketing. Anyways. Bless all of you for putting up with me and my weird introductions. I can't even tell you how much it means to me that you guys stick around. Anyways, let's keep going. So we did the envelopes, I showed you the guest checks, and I did a bunch of papers. So that was the small batch with the coffee, because sort of two things were in my mind. One was I wanted to just do a really tiny batch to see if it worked, because I know that it picks up, okay, Captain Obvious, we use the printer ink to print on paper and the paper soaks it up, but I wasn't sure how it would react when I had a ton of water added and coffee. Like, there was a part of me that wondered if somehow maybe the coffee and the oil in the coffee would repel the ink or something. I don't know, I'm not very sciencey, but it did occur to me that there might be some sort of reaction. So we do the small batch. Then, because I can't get enough of coffee dyed paper and coffee dyed envelopes, I decided I got out a big bin, I plopped it on the kitchen table, I just kept adding in tea bags and hot water and tea bags and hot water and paper and envelopes, because I was like, this way it's done. Sometimes I'm just in the mood to do a huge batch and just so I have it. I love doing it, but some days it's just nice to go and open up a drawer and pick out the coffee dyed stuff that you either want to stamp, you want to glue, whatever it is you want to do, right? So I did add some of the printer ink to the tea dye bin, the mega bin. I think I just had so much going on in that bin that you can't really tell and see what a difference this made. But next time I will do a small batch of tea and throw some of this in and see what happens. But overall, both bins were a big success. I got myself a ton of paper, tea dyed, coffee dyed paper to work with. Going forward into Halloween season. And I hope you will stick around and watch. It's fun, and if you like coffee dyed paper, you're gonna love this. So without any further ado, is there anything? Oh, I know, the one thing I did want to mention was, I wanted to say thank you for all of you who gave me the names and the YouTube channels of other journalers that you guys like to follow. I love all of their channels, so thank you very much for that. It's been a lot of fun getting to know these YouTubers and watching them work with their art and their journals too. So thanks a lot for that. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get on to the video and get into the good stuff. I'm going to do a batch of coffee dyed in my official coffee dyeing pan here. And then I'm going to add the ink to it because I want to see, before I put the ink in the big bin, if we can tell that the ink is having an effect with the coffee dye. So we'll do that first, and I'm going to put this in the water. Now, I did start one a little bit already because I wanted to see if this was even going to work. Sorry, I've got the camera on a peanut can and I was in the kitchen and I was trying to make this work because I don't want to do this down in the studio in case something spills. I don't want to get water and ink everywhere. Because it's okay to get it on the kitchen floor, but not in my craft room. Okay, so the first time I did this, I just put the ink cartridge in to sort of see what would happen. And right away I noticed that the sponge there turned color. So then I got myself a toothpick. And I was like, okay, well, let's poke the bear a little bit and see what we get. And so I just started poking, of course, at the sponge. And immediately we start to get ink. Now, I have to admit, it doesn't come out as quickly as I thought it would. But that's still pretty quick. This one's actually coming out a little quicker than the other one. The other thing is, excuse me. Oops. It's kind of hard to do it when I'm looking in the camera. Oh yeah, that's... So let me just... I mean, the thing is, there's probably... Considering how much we pay for these things, there's not that much ink in there. The other thing would be, I did consider, you know, trying to break this thing open. But we're getting quite a bit of color out. Now you can see here where I've just smushed the sponge right down. I mean, the obvious thing would be to try and break this open and then just pour the ink out. But you know what? I'm not going to do that only because you can see. I'm not going to do that with this one. Oh, look, there's oh, this is actually getting out a lot of ink. I have, like I said, I have a lot of these. Oops. I should be wearing gloves. And I'm not. What was I gonna say? You know, like, we're just gonna kind of play around with this. I have a lot of these, so I could do an experiment where I open it, try and break the thing open. But let me I'm going to rip a piece of paper. Let's see if I dip the paper in. Ooh. This, my friends, is going to be very, very interesting. Now, I have another one over here. This was the first one that I did. And next time I will wear gloves. You can see that this is still have quite a bit of ink in it. And just sitting in the water isn't going to get the ink out. So I think what I will do now is I'm going to pour this mixture into the coffee dye. Let me just show you again for comparison. So we got a lot of ink out of that one. So this one will go in the coffee dye. Then the other one I'm going to mix in with the tea. Once I get all the ink out of this one, this will go in the tea for the big batch that's going to sit overnight or for a couple days. So, okay, now, give me 1 second. Okay, so here's the coffee water. I'm just going to pour about half of this in here. And like I said, this is, oops, this bin, or this pan is just for coffee dyeing. I went downstairs and got a stir stick. Excuse me. Seeing as we're using printer ink, maybe I shouldn't use our kitchen utensils. Okay, now. I mean, I have no idea if this will do anything. Well, that's just normal. You know what? I'm going to add all of it in. Okay, let's put the rest in here. Okay, I'm going to add water. And then we will come back in, or sorry, add paper. And then we'll come back in about half an hour or so and see what it looks like. I have almost all of the ink out of this one as well. I think I'm gonna try and figure out I'm gonna break open this, get the sponge out, and then add it to the tea dye mixture as well. It might be more helpful, quote unquote, you know what I mean, to put the sponge as well as the ink in with the tea. So let me see if I can do that. I'm not sure how I'm going to try and pry that open, but I'll let you know. Sorry if you can hear the kettle there, it's right beside me boiling. So what I did was I just took some needle nose pliers and I just broke the plastic open. So now I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna pull out. Oh, it's not one big sponge, it's a layer. Oops, now it sprays a little bit, so okay, so let's just dump that in there. The things that we do, huh, for crafting? It's so funny. Okay, this is all one piece here. There we go, there we go. Okay. Okay, so here we have the first one. Let me see if it'll break. I just sort of twisted the plastic's fairly hard. And again, you should probably wear gloves when doing this, but that ship has sort of sailed for me. This one's not. Oh boy, look at that. Okay. Not that it really makes a difference at this point because I've got ink stains all over, but I do want to just see if we can. The first one broke apart quite easily, and this one is not. But I wonder if we just open this up enough. Let's see if I can just go in here. Yep, I think I still can get a hold of the sponges. I don't know if I can coax it out just with a... There's a learning curve. Oh, here we go. There's definitely, again, a learning curve here. So let's pull this out. Careful, careful not to splatter. Okay, and put that in there too. And then, it's like performing surgery. because these are old, it may be that, oh no, I was going to say that the sponge has disintegrated. I actually think in this case, that's what's happening. Or is it just bits and pieces? Maybe the sponge has sort of broken down. Yeah, I'm going to leave this one for now. But it's good to know that you're either going to get a sponge out in full or you're not. Now, I have this old bin. You can see it's already dirty, which is great. So I don't care what happens in this coffee dye session. And the other reason I wanted to use this bin was because I've got this legal size paper. So I'm gonna tea dye. I've got this, oh, there's my toast is ready. I've got this jar of really old, I don't have no idea what's in here, but we're gonna use what's here. I have some of this dandelion, roasted dandelion. I tried to like it, I did. I really, really, really wanted it because I know it's good for you, but I hated it. It's so bitter. And the only way I could drink it was to put half a thing of sugar in there, like a whole box of sugar. Well, that defeats the purpose, so that's going in. And then I've got some other stragglers here. And I've got this construction paper that I got at Value Village. So I'm going to go through and pick some of the stuff out of here to see how that works. We've just got some green copy paper, some gold copy paper, and some white copy paper. So now I've got this pad here. And we used to just draw on this. It's sort of like a newsprint, if those of you that are old enough to remember newsprint paper. Anyways, I'm gonna grab a handful of that, and I'm gonna put that in here as well. And that's gonna just get us started. I wanted to mention in part, one of the reasons why I'm adding in the dandelion tea, as well as not liking it, it is an extremely dark tea. It's one of the darkest teas I've ever had, actually. So I got 5 of them in here. I don't know if we'll notice a difference or not, depending on, or despite everything else I'm going to be adding in here. But I'm hoping that it'll help really give a lot of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the hot water in here and let it steep. Then I'm just going to smush the tea bags aside. Then I'll start putting paper in, and then we will add in the secret ingredient. Okay, so this is just the tea with the first full kettle of water. It's nice and steamy, and it's actually getting quite dark already, so I like it. It smells great. Now I want cookies though, because when I smell tea, I want cookies. I've put 3 full kettles in here. This has been steeping for a good half an hour. I'm going to add the ink mixture in here. We're going to give it a stir, and then we'll see how much water I need. Okay, so let's add the ink mixture into the tea. And I was thinking, well, I did say that my word for 2025 is alchemy. So here we go. Okay, now we'll give it a stir with the stir stick here. Okay, I'm going to start adding our goodies and yeah, see what we get. Okay, so it looks to me like I need more water, and I've got 10 more tea bags that I'm going to add, and then I'm going to keep putting in envelopes and paper. And then I think after I've got a pot of water and another, so this is going to be 6 kettles of water, I believe. And then I'm going to see where we are, and I'll probably call it a day there.
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, everybody, that's it. That's what's going in the big mass bulk of tea dyeing. I'm gonna let it cool. It's kind of heavy, so if water spills, it's better if it's not boiling water that spills on my feet. Here is the coffee and ink mixture. It has been an hour, and let's see, this is looking quite spectacular, I have to say. The water's cold now. What I think, this is looking great. So of course all of this, or most of this, is going to be for Halloween. So, you know, I think, whew, look at that. What I'm going to do is, it's a nice sunny day outside. I'm going to take this out and put it in the sunshine and let it sit for an hour-ish. Then I will drain the water out of it, and then I'll let it sit in this pan in the sun again. Yeah, I'll let this sit till the end of the day. I'm very curious to see how this is going to turn out, but I think it's going to be great. So, give me another hour or so, and maybe I can get some of this ink off my hands, and let's see what we get. Here's a quick update of the coffee dye and ink, and I am happy to report my color-loving friends that I think we are onto something here. Now, I let this soak for 2 2 hours in total. 2 hours and a little bit. Now I'm not really going to touch anything. Just peel that back a little bit. So there is definitely a dark black slash blue slash brown tinge to all of this. What I'm going to do is, I had it for an hour in the house, then I took it outside and I put it in the sun for an hour. And what I'm gonna do is it's almost 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm just gonna stick this out on the back porch and I'm gonna let it sit there all day. Look at that. This is looking really great. So I'm just gonna take it out there like this and leave it and see what happens. I'm probably not going to really mess with this too much even tomorrow. I might, excuse me, leave it out tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's quite warm. It's like 24 degrees Celsius here. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, sorry. But it's hot. So I'm just going to let it bake. But I think we were really onto something. There's definitely a hue or tone that we got from the ink, obviously that didn't just come from the coffee dye, and the way that these two have mixed together is really interesting. It's taking every fiber of my being not to mess with this too much. Now that looks like that's just coffee dyed, meaning the brown color. Okay, well unfortunately we'll have to wait. It is definitely a bit of a cliffhanger, but I'm very encouraged, and despite the mess, I think that this is going to really present some pretty interesting options for us. Okay, let's see what we get by the end of the day. It is 6:30 on the same day, and the sunlight, well there we go, it's not too bad. These are looking absolutely fantastic. I have just left these outside in the sunshine all day. They're still pretty wet, as you can see. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll bring them in overnight. I'm not gonna separate them. I'm just going to leave them like this, and then I'll bring them back again out tomorrow night to dry a little bit more, and then I will separate. But this color is, this dark color is fantastic. It's looking very charcoal. It's looking very, very good. Now, over here, we've got the bin, and I did find a lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty some of the water out of this. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it bake, so to speak, outside overnight. And then we'll see what we've got tomorrow. Okay, just quickly, I got rid of all the tea, or as much as I could. As you can see, I went in and took some of the things that were right up against the sides, the envelopes, and I just sort of threw them, or put them flat down here. So, and I've been pulling out tea bags as they kind of show up. I like what I see. It's not as dark as the ink with the coffee, of course, because we just had way more going on in this bin than we did in the other one. But I'm very happy with this. From what I can see, we've got some interesting color, and certainly things are going to be ripped and distressed, which is going to be perfect for Halloween. Things to put in Halloween journals and goth journals and all that kind of stuff, right? So I am going to now put the lid on it, And then tomorrow I will come. Is that lid gonna fit? Yeah. Tomorrow I will come and take out more tea and try and separate things. And yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. Here's a next day update. This was the coffee and ink dyed batch. And I have to say, these look great. The charcoal color on them is fantastic. I am really, look at that. I am really, really, really happy with how these turned out. They're still a little bit damp. Look at these guest checks. These guest checks look fantastic. I'm going to leave them on the table there in the sun and let them dry out. Yeah, these are going to stamp up really well. Okay, that one, that's okay. We can glue that back together. Okie dokie, here is a little bit of an update. There's Sophie having a great time on the on the deck. This is the paper from the tea dye and ink, and it's been sitting out here for a couple of days. It's still quite damp, and the temperatures here have dropped quite a bit, which on one hand is good because it's not super hot and I don't have to have the air conditioning on. The bad news is that my paper isn't drying as quickly as I would like. Even though I said I wasn't in a hurry, I do kind of want to be done with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drying these in the oven today. I've got it on 300 and I've got 2 of these big trays. So I'm just going to kind of stick paper in there on and off this afternoon. And get everything dried. So when everything is done, I will definitely do an update. I sort of thought like I had more paper in there. It seemed like more when it was in the bin. I don't know why. I mean, this is still a lot of paper, but anyways. There's Lucy. She's high up on our perch. She can look out and see what's going on all over the backyard. And Soph is just relaxing, enjoying the breeze. Okay, everybody, let's get this dry and we'll see what it looks like. These guest checks look fantastic. Now, I don't know if I said this or not. At one point in the video, I was thinking it might be kind of fun to take the ink and water it down and maybe add some coffee and then put it in a spray bottle and do some post coffee dyeing spray with it. But I have to say, the way that these turned out, I'm perfectly happy with how they are. I don't think I would feel the need to go in and do any more spraying. Oops, that's upside down. Or, you know, I might stamp some things on them for, depending on, you know, something in the corner or whatever. But, like I said, the color is great. Oops. So I put all of these, I dried these in our gas oven on 300, and I left them in, I put them on big cookie sheets, and then I let them sit for about 8 to 10 minutes at a time and just kept feeding in. Look at that one. That one's fantastic. And then this is just the copy paper that I put in. If nothing else, I love the sound and the texture and the feel of coffee dyed paper. Or, you know what, any kind of paper that's been in water. Quite frankly, I don't know what it is, but it makes me very happy. Okay, so now just quickly, Look at this. I love this. This makes me really, really happy. I know when I was doing the video and I was adding everything in the bin, there was a tiny little voice in my head was like, are you sure you're not putting too much in this bin? But I'm glad that I did it this way, and I'm glad that I got this stack. So again, now these still smell a little bit like tea, which I like, the black tea. These, on some of it, you can pick up a little bit of the charcoal color, I think. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I know that I threw everything but the kitchen sink in this. Next time, you know, when I need more, I think what I'll do is I'll do the tea just with the ink. But I love this. I love that it's everything about this. These are great. The color variations are great. Some of these you can see where the red from the construction paper got picked up, and I really like that. So all these envelopes, you know, there's a lot. You can tell with the brown color, obviously this is from the tea. Did the black ink show up? I think in bits and pieces it did, but certainly not as obvious as the smaller batch that I did. So these are great. Great, great, great. So those are the non-window envelopes. Again, here are the ones with the windows. These, of course, I did not put in the oven. I didn't want the plastic to melt. I like that some of these are ripped. Again, this kind of thing is going to be great in a Halloween journal. So yeah, so all of these turned out really nicely. The colors are great. So these sat in the bin for a good 24 hours, maybe even a little bit longer by the time I got them into the oven. And then these are just the regular smaller, like 4x6 envelopes. Again, love it. These ones have almost a little bit of a green hue tinge to them. So I'm loving these. And there is a green tinge here, and I believe this is from the green construction paper. So maybe some of these smaller envelopes that have sort of a greenish undertone to them, maybe they were closer to the green construction paper than I originally thought. These are those little papers from that newsprint pad of paper. Color didn't change a whole lot in the pink ones, but definitely the greens flushed out. But again, these are going to be great for Halloween journals. These are the guest checks that I did. These ones don't have as much color variation in them as the ones that we did with the coffee and the ink. I love this one. I'm very happy with them, but these ones I might take out and spray with coffee water or even some of my Tim Holtz sprays and give them a little bit of something before I stamp them. Okay, then rounding out the end here, this is the gold copy paper. This came out great. I mean, music to my ears. This is the green paper. They're the green copy paper. This stuff turned out really nicely as well. The oven definitely gives it that extra crispy punch. Now these are the construction paper pieces that I put in. And again, oh, there's some gray, some of the gray copy paper. So I'm happy with the construction paper as well. The brighter colors I won't put in the Halloween journals. Some of this green I will. So yeah, so that all came out fabulously. I'll definitely be doing that again. And then, oh wait, I had these craft soap boxes. 100 years ago when I was making soap, I had these window boxes. And at the last minute, I decided to grab some and throw them in, even though, of course, they're the craft paper. Nothing really exciting happened to them, except for I do like the texture that they get having been in the water. What I think I might do then is just cut around here and use the window for something in the journals. I'm not sure. And then here we go. Here's the legal size white paper. I think just as you would expect from tea-dyed paper, these have quite a bit of a yellow tinge, so I'm pretty sure these were near the yellow construction paper. But yeah, I love it. I love it all. Super good. I like that I have the longer paper too, so that I can have a little bit of flexibility when I'm putting it in journals, whether it's folding it up and creating pockets, or, you know, almost doing like maybe a double fold on the one side and then just stitch it. Something like this. I don't know, but I like the idea that the bigger paper gives me the options. And to be honest, I wouldn't just use plain white legal paper in a journal on its own. So it's nice to have this. And again, it's nice to have this big stack here for the season. And I can just pull from it whenever I want. I can stamp it. But anyways, okay, everybody, thank you very much for sticking around for that long coffee dye, tea dye, ink dye marathon with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it will inspire you. And like I said before, I like the idea of being able to pick up ink from the Goodwill or Value Village. Every once in a while, I see a big think of printer ink. And of course, you think, well, I can't use it. It's not going to fit in my printer. But now, of course, we can give it a second life and use it with our paper. So anyways, if you like this video, please do give it a little thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I also appreciate you spending this time with me and hanging out. And until we see each other again, as I always say, speak kindly to yourselves, enjoy your journal and or coffee dyeing process. Until the next video, mwah. Take care, everybody. Bye. Hi, Soph. Do you want to say hi? Would you like to say hi to everybody? Say, I'm having a great time sitting on the back porch, getting wind in my whiskers and sunshine on my face. Yeah. I'm having a perfect day. Well, that's glad. We're all glad, Soph. Yes, we are.